quit scheduling these meetings like that.
I called Tim today, saying, hey, just get price on just
What you saying?
So we got quit scheduling those meetings like that. I was just down there, and I had to run home,
And
and then I came running right back. I had to go home.
Dang.
That's what we were negotiating. That's why I rushed back over and finished up my.
Gotta figure
I had it
that
for
part
lunch,
out,
but I
yeah,
didn't get a
but-
chance to finish it.
They didn't pay either way. They can do that for cheap. That's even better, yeah. I didn't want to move into that stuff. Right. So I'm like,
You're fast.
what? Oh my gosh. On Friday. It's $2. Wow. That probably wants to drink small. Hey. Be a part of the team. There's mom on duty and
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Those are approved. We'll move on to public comment. If you'd like to address the board, you can come to the podium, please, and give us your name, and you'll have 4 minutes to address the board. Anyone? So we'll move on to reports. My report, supervisor report, I want to mention 2 things. One is that we had several complaints called into us today because the subdivisions have not been plowed. And I just wanted to make a mention, and hope everybody can see this when, and if they do see this when they watch the video. Genesee County Road Commission is the agency responsible for maintaining our roads, and that includes plowing our roads. And so we take those complaints, and those complaints we turn around and we call it into Genesee County. And they have a maintenance department, and they're the ones who are responsible for plowing township roads in Genesee County. And their phone number is 810-767-4920. If you can call the township, 810-732-1350. We'll take your complaint, but it's going directly over to the Genesee County Road Commission. So I apologize that there are subdivision roads that are not in good shape, and there's still snow covering the roads. And I know they're trying to get to them as they can. Their priorities, they start on the primary roads and go to the local roads, then they'll go into subdivision roads. But it's just a matter of a lot of snow and so many resources. They are coming, it's just they haven't gotten there yet. But again, you can give us a call, we'll take the complaint, and then we'll forward that complaint to the Road Commission. And secondly, in my report, I wanted to mention that we recently, and I'll let you talk on it too, we recently received, well, throughout the year since COVID, Sam's Club has been very generous and very helpful with supplies for the township, the police department, and just serving us with cleaning supplies and hand sanitizer. So there was a point where it seems like when we turn around, something's running out of something. And they've been very generous to us. So we want to give a big thank you to Sam's Club. That's all for my report. Madam Clerk, do you have a report this evening?
No reports this evening from me.
Madam Treasurer?
No.
Do we have trustee reports this evening?
No.
Trustee Klee, you,
I have just one thing I'd like to share.
can you pull your microphone closer?
Terry, you got me okay? All right. On behalf of the Carmen Ainsworth School District, there was a vote at last week's board meeting that they are going to have 2 millage proposals on the May 3rd, 2022 ballot. And I know some of you folks thought that there was a vote with us last month, not for Carmen Ainsworth, but in the township, but this specifically will be. And the preparation's underway to get these are both renewals. These are not additions. These are renewals to both the non-homestead operating renewal, which this impacts nobody with a home. This impacts businesses only, and it's a renewal of the non-homestead operating renewal. And then the building and site sinking fund, which is in existence right now for Carmen Ainsworth. There's a buzzing up here. That's a renewal also, and it's going to be on the May ballot, May 3rd. So I just wanted that information. If you guys hear or see anything, and if you have questions on what it is, you can call the Carmen Ainsworth School main building or any of the high school, middle school, or elementary buildings and speak to any of the head secretaries or the principals to discuss it. Or you can gladly give my number out, and I'll please help out as well. I've got some packets and things.
What's your number? I'm just teasing.
1-800-CALL ME.
So if that's it for the
Thank you.
trustees' reports, we'll move on to staff. Chief Salter, do you have a report for us this evening?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Since our last board meeting on January 28th, we responded to over 1,600 calls, which is about an 83 a day average. Including in that calls is 176 traffic accidents that we responded to in the last 3 weeks, so I'm busy there. In addition to the calls, of course, 226 traffic stops, 89 business checks, and 52 residence checks. And also, I usually go into the notes. I wish I could say it's been an uneventful 3 weeks, but I cannot. We had our first homicide last week. A 34-year-old victim was murdered on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. We currently have the suspect in jail. He's awaiting arraignment charges right now.
Do you have an approximate location?
3,000 block of burnout.
So is that a residence, huh?
Correct. Also, as many of you are aware, we lost a local member of our law enforcement family on Friday night. Captain Bernie passed away during a traffic accident, so I want to make sure I pass on mine and my department's thoughts and prayers for him, his family, and the police department, who is in mourning right now. And I have 2 items for the agenda.
And you'll have some of our police officers attending that funeral, right?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
You'll be there?
Yes.
Thank you. Chief Beckley?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
haven't said that one yet.
Right. Sounds different.
But you got it right the first time.
Right.
Do you have a report for us this evening?
I do. Thank you. Since the last board meeting, we've responded to 38 incidents. Luckily, there was no significant fire events in the township during this time. On February 3rd, we did assist Mundy Township with a commercial fire, the 6,000 block of Taylor Drive. Other than that, we've just been holding steady. And I have no items for the agenda this evening.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Tucker, do you have a report this evening?
Not this evening, I do have a couple items on the agenda.
Thank you very much. Committee meetings, I don't see anyone here to give a report for committee. We'll move on to number 8, payment of bills. Madam Treasurer?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve payment of invoices and acknowledge disbursements that went out in the amount of $9,387,835.30.
Is there a second to the motion?
Clee moves, or Clee would support that, sorry.
Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the motion to approve payment of the invoices and/or disbursements in the amount of $9,387,835.30.
Ms. Bethel?
Yes.
Mrs. Vert?
Yes.
Mr. Clee?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
And Mrs. Triplett, yes.
So number 9, I don't believe there's any correspondence or informational items. Is that correct? That's correct. We'll move on to new business. Action item A is set a public hearing. Did you want to give us any information on that?
Yeah, this is just an application for an industrial development district on Marketplace. It was submitted by John P. O'Sullivan Distributors. They're looking at an expansion, and this is just to set the public hearing for March 7th at 7 p.m.
March
Yes.
7th. A motion is in order to move forward, please.
Clee would move that we accept the establishment of the Industrial Development District by John P. O'Sullivan as per submitted by Ms. Tucker,
Set the public hearing on that.
and set the public hearing for her date.
Is there a second on the public? We don't think there's any questions for Mrs. Tucker. All those in favor of setting the public hearing for establishing the Industrial Development District for John P. O'Sullivan to have the public hearing on March 7th signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All righty, and then we're setting the public hearing for the Flagstone Point Special Assessment for them to have a district. It's a road project. Did you want to say anything on that?
So the resolution you have before you that was on the table is the one that was, the attorney changed it up just a little bit. He wanted more acknowledgement of the fact that these were petitions submitted by the residents that started this process, and also to show when the estimates would be ready for review by the public. So adopting that resolution will set the public hearing.
Did you have something in regards to this? No? Okay. So a motion is in order to adopt the resolution setting the public hearing for Flagstone Point Special Assessment District we're going to do that February 21st, right? That in here? Yeah, February 21st. Is there a motion for that? Anyone? One move to do that?
Clee would move that we accept the Flagstone Point project for a public hearing on February 21, 2022.
Is there a second to the motion?
Support.
So I don't think there's any further questions on setting the public hearing. All those in favor of setting that public hearing for February 21st for the Flagstone Point Special Assessment District signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? That's done. Action item B, Mrs. Tucker.
This is a rezoning ordinance. This is just the introduction, so no action is needed.
Alrighty. And that's going to come back to us
On the 21st.
on February 21st. Alrighty. Action item C is Linden Place Water System. Let me pull this up. So we had a request from Linden Place Mobile Home Park. Hold on, let me find it. They are applying for a permit at the state, and they needed a resolution. This resolution was reviewed by Peter Goodstein, and if the board wants to approve it, we need a motion to move forward.
Anderson moves that we accept the resolution as presented by our attorney in the matter of Linden Place property.
Is there a second to the motion?
Or
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor of approving the resolution for Linden Place Water System signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? That passes. Action item number C2, Madam Clerk.
This, we have a request from Habitat for Humanity. They would like to build a property in our township.
They're asking for support.
And they're
from
asking
our
for
board.
support from the township.
Okay. Are you making a motion to approve the resolution?
I make a motion to approve the resolution for Habitat to build in Flint Township.
Is there a second to the motion?
support.
Any questions or discussion?
Just
On the
just that
resolution,
all
go
of this
ahead.
goes through our building department as far as inspections and everything like that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the resolution of support for Habitat for Humanity signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Action item C3, Chief Salter.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. In your board packet is a request for the board to hire a police officer. We are currently short by 2 police officers in our township. The Civil Service Commission gave us the name of Matthew Goodman to hire. Mr. Goodman has successfully completed his physical, a psychological, and his complete thorough background investigation. He's a 2007 Clio graduate. He worked as an ambulance paramedic for approximately 8 years, and also 6 years at the Genesee County Sheriff's Office. But hope the board would recommend hiring Mr. Matthew Goodman starting February 21st.
At start of third year.
Yep.
Correct.
Clee would
Start of third year.
move, Clee would move that we hire Matthew, excuse me. as a
Matthew
full-
Goodman.
Yes, Matthew Goodman, as a full-time police officer, as your date of the 21st, and the conditional offer would be his starting wage at the rate of a start of a third-year officer, and after completion of the field training program, Mr. Goodman's wage would then go to a fourth-year level due to the fact that he has the seniority and the work behind him.
Is there a second to the motion?
Ma'am, can I interrupt? And the additional contingencies within the, that I've always said. I mean.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, with the condition, yeah, within the
Conditions,
condition, yes.
I'm sorry, yes,
Okay.
with the conditions that Chief Salter has enlisted into the statement. I was just reading the short paragraph, sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Did we get a second over here?
Second, I did.
And does anyone have any questions for Chief Salter regarding the information before you? And if no one does?
I don't really have a question, but I was just curious with his background with the mobile medical response, and he worked for the county. I guess I'm asking, what authorities would he have if he kind of came upon a scene for the township?
He would have the authorities as a first, or basic first aid responder.
Okay.
As far as a paramedic, that's more of a fire thing I can, because we talked about this before. To fall into his paramedic experience, he has to get dispatched as a paramedic. But I'm sure he'll do whatever the necessary and follow the law when he comes upon a scene. I mean, police officers are all trained for a basic first aid. So we can do the basics till an ambulance gets there. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes, to work as a paramedic, the agency would have to be licensed to that level for him to be able to act as a paramedic.
Are we looking at that for the, down the road that we might have?
No, ma'am, that really is not on my radar right now,
What
as
about
far
the
as a
fire
paramedic.
department? Is it on?
That's definitely a discussion point that we could have. Definitely an option that's out there, but there's a lot that would go into that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? So we have a motion and a second on the hiring of Matthew Goodman, effective February 21st, starting at the rate of the third year, and after he completes field training, to be paid at the rate of the start of the fourth year, and with additional contingencies. Can you call the roll on that, please?
Sure. Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Burt,
Yes.
Mr. Clee,
Yes.
Mrs. Favdal,
Yes.
and Mrs. Tripp. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, board.
Action item C4, Chief Salter?
Yes, ma'am. Again, it's, in your board packets, a request to purchase a new police canine. Since I've been a police officer in the township, you've always seemed like you had one or two canines working at one time. And since Canine Jack's retired and left, we have not had a canine working. Recently, the Hogan Foundation donated $10,000 to the police department, and when we called them about what we wanted to use the money for, they're ecstatic about it. And also, we do have some forfeiture money that we can use to cover the training cost of it. We've used different kennels in the past, and the last canine we bought, we went out to Pennsylvania, and Lieutenant Wengler was out there. He was impressed with the professionalism they had out there and the facilities they had for the animals that came over. I'd ask the board to approve us using Shallow Creek Kennels located in Pennsylvania to purchase a canine, and another $5,000 for the training at the Oakland Police Academy, which we have used in the past too.
Thank you. On that recommendation, is there a motion to move forward?
Clee would move to accept the resolution and the motion to approve the purchase of the canine for $8,500 from Shallow Creek Kennels. And in the same respect, an additional $5,000 to support the training of both officers, the new canine and the officer that will be operating with him.
Caught me
Going
for a
to
second.
training.
Look-
Is there a second to the motion?
Righto, right?
Anderson, oh,
Go ahead.
Favdal did.
Any questions for Chief Salter?
I have one. Do we have a vest for him? Or can we make sure we get one like we always do? I don't know if that's part of this money.
It's not part of this money right now, but it's something we can look at going down the road to see.
Thanks.
So we've had those in the past? I thought they said sometimes it makes them sweat and it's,
Correct. That's why we had to
Right,
talk to
yeah.
the owner or the canine handler about it, see what his recommendation is. If it's
Right.
good for the dog, if it's not good for the dog, especially in hot days to run around with a vest on,
And
they
then
get
you
hot
gotta-
enough already as it
Right.
is.
But in the cold weather, we have to consider what they're up against
Correct.
as well.
Yes.
So I know we talked about them, so yeah, I just want to keep that number in the back of our heads. Thanks.
You mentioned that we were granted money by Hogan Manufacturing. Will all the 10,000 go to this first before you dip into the forfeiture money?
Yes, ma'am. I will.
Thank you. Alrighty, any other questions? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call please on the hiring of, or the purchasing, sorry, of a canine.
Yes. Mrs. Favdal,
Yes.
Mr. Clee,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Burt,
yes.
and Mrs. Anderson.
Yes.
Mrs. Tripp, yes.
Alrighty,
Thank you, board.
thank you. Action item C5, Madam Clerk, we can talk about that. Do you want me to report that? We don't have a name today because one of the candidates who had applied and scheduled for an interview wasn't able to make it. So
Tuesday, we have to reschedule. So we are in the process of hiring a full-time position person in the clerk's office. Once we get a name, we'll be able to present that to the board, and hopefully you guys will be more than happy to accept.
So, I just want to ask the board, the position's budgeted, and during the interview process, I think it went really well today. There was two-part testing and three of us interviewing and scoring the candidate the candidates on their interview questions. So I just want to put this out there that we now know that there's going to be a May election, which puts a lot more pressure on you. That's 3 months away.
Absolutely.
And our next board meeting's not till February 21st, I mean. So we can do one of two things. We can wait till a name is brought forward then, or since the position is already budgeted and we have a good interview process in place, we can ask the board, Manya can ask the board, if the board would approve the selection of the highest scorer in the interview process, and we can bring them in as soon as possible. It'd be nice, I'm
Yes, it
speaking
would
for
help.
you,
It
but
would help if we could do that so that we could definitely get things rolling for the May election as well as getting things caught up in the clerk's office.
Anderson would like to make a motion that upon the completion of the interview process, that the Personnel Committee be granted the authority to make an offer for the position of the Clerical 3 clerk's position, and we will bring the information back, at our next meeting. But we will be able to move forward with that individual, maybe having to give notice to their employer and that whole time constraint that it takes.
there's a motion. Is there a second to the motion?
A second.
Any questions or discussion on that motion?
I do have a question. You said 3 people were interviewing today?
Yes.
Who was that?
One was Jean Marks. She was.
Oh, no, I thought you meant who was interviewing them.
The Personnel Committee.
I thought you meant who.
Vanya and Karen,
I-
Personnel
That's what I was
Committee.
asking
was
too, the
just-
personnel.
I apologize.
Yeah, I know.
Strike that.
Yeah, the Personnel Committee served as the
Got it, thank you.
interviewing team.
I have a question also, and I think Barb might have alluded to it. Are we looking at the internals right now and not externals? Is that where we are?
No, the position was posted many weeks ago
Yeah.
for internal within the union, and nobody wanted to take that position. So,
I think it was even posted prior to that, wasn't it? The position?
well, it was,
Before I even posted.
yes, it was posted right before you got here, and it was also posted last year. So,
So we had nobody within the entire building that wished to walk, okay.
no, they don't want that position.
Nobody wants it.
Gotta say that's stressful. So, any other questions? Okay, so, I can ask, all those in favor of allowing the Personnel Committee?
Take a roll call.
Oh,
vote?
roll call vote, Madam
Sorry.
Clerk.
Okay, let's do that.
Just to
Mrs.
protect everybody.
That's right. Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Burt?
Yes,
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Clee?
Yes.
Mrs. Fafdahl?
Yes.
And Mrs. Triplett, yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
yes. Let's see, announcements. The next meeting is
Thank you.
February 21st. And, I don't think there's any other
The second
business.
was
It was me.
her.
So without objection and no further business, we'll call this meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey, she's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.